Well, it looks like we're back for episode 5, Return of the Sludge. That is She-Hulk. And again, I still don't know what this show is meant to be. I'm still just confused on what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing with this show? There definitely doesn't seem to be an overarching story here. And I think even if people are making the case, oh, well, it's a sitcom. It's like, well, there's no structure of a sitcom. It isn't funny. I think the only thing I found funny this week was the fact that everybody was shitting all over She-Hulk. That was probably the only funny aspect of the show. Other than that, not really anything. Nothing to offer. I'm still surprised that people are out here going, it's not that bad. It's like, it's sludge. This show is the definition of sludge. It really is. I could break this episode down in about 30 seconds, less. That's how empty and filler these episodes are. It's not a comedy. It isn't funny. It isn't funny. It's the people that clearly showed up for this didn't have a story to tell. Didn't have a story to tell. They just thought, how can we bash men? That was about it. That was really about it. How do we project ourselves onto these characters? That was the idea behind the show. Because there's no story, there's no structure, it's just empty. It's just every episode has been filler. That is what every episode has been. So, as I say, I'm still surprised. People are saying anything nice about this show. Nothing nice to say. I'm not going to sit here and accept trash. You know, that's just the fact. I'm not just going to go, that's shit. It is absolute shit. And it's just weird to me. Because it's like all these other stuff, all these other shows we've seen that are great. You know, you compare it to this, it's like, no, there's no comparison here. There really isn't any comparison. It's like, because I try and kind of, because I'd probably say my favourite sitcom is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You compare that to this, it's like, no, there's no comparison. It's Always Sunny is funny, and it's actually has a structure, whereas this, it's just, we're just going to throw shit at the screen. That'll do. That'll do. Talentless shit. You don't need talent to make a show like this. I could make a show like this, probably better than this. But should we just get into it anyway? Because, again, I hope I'm not here long, but you never know sometimes. And by the way, it's not the Daredevil episode. I thought it would have been, but no, I think they're setting it up for the next episode, where I'm going to tear their fucking heads off when they, of course, ruin the character. That's what's going to happen. We all know what we're getting. Slapstick Daredevil making shit jokes at his expense. She-Hulk is going to be a better lawyer than him, even though what we've been shown in this series so far, she's shit. She is a shit lawyer. She's not good at her job. I imagine if most lawyers watched this show, they would have a field day with it. I really want to see lawyers break down this show, because I'm like, she's a shit lawyer. All the lawyer stuff, spending time in a courtroom, there's nothing compelling or interesting. Most of the stuff they get completely wrong because the showrunners didn't know nothing about law, even though they pitched to Marvel about doing a She-Hulk show that was involving law. They didn't think of this until they got to the writer's room. And then when they figured, oh, we don't have a clue what we're doing, they didn't think, well, maybe we should hire someone, maybe a consultant, maybe someone that's written law shows. They didn't think, maybe we'll go and watch a few trials to get the gist of it. No, they didn't do any of that. They just turned up, said, fuck it, we don't know what we're doing. So we're not doing that anymore, even though we pitched it that way. Fucking, just remember, Kevin Feige okays these things. That's how shit and useless Kevin Feige is. That is apparent. But let's get into it. I digress. Let's just dive in. So it opens up with, because as we know from the last episode, I forget how you. I keep forgetting how I say her name. Tatiana. You know, fuck it. It doesn't matter, does it? But the Tatiana, the superpowered influencer that we now have in the MCU. You know, remember Iron Man? Remember all those films? Now we're at the point we have we have superpowered influencers. Can you be any more cringe? That's all I can say to that. So because she now has trademarked She-Hulk's name, like, so she sells, like, beauty products. I'm pretty sure Marvel was selling these in real life as well. So it's an advert for, come and get your She-Hulk shit, your skincare and all that bollocks. And of course, Jennifer sees this. Yeah, she's not too happy about it. This billboards and that with on it, whatever. So, it's all on the radio and everything, so she gets all mad. Then she goes home and has some cereal, has a bit of cereal, and then Ched, her dumb cousin. I'm guessing it's either a cousin or a brother. I don't know, but apparently he's selling this She-Hulk stuff because he thought it was Jennifer's stuff. Even though this guy in episode 2 got promoted to manager at Best Buy, but now they must have forgot about that. Must have forgot about it. So he comes in and then he explains to the audience how trademarking works, because we didn't know. We didn't know that he comes up and says, "Oh, it's first come, first serve." So that's the only point he's there for, and also to make another man look like a fucking imbecile. So they go down to, what is this? Absolute shit. So shit. So yeah, they go down here to find, she goes to stand at the back of the line, then a friend says, "Oh no, you just have confidence and walk in." So yeah, they go in there and then they start reading a bunch of lists, reading off a list about what these products are. I don't care. I do not care. So then, it's Titania, that's it. Titania. Yeah, Titania, yeah. So yeah, she shits all over Jen. Cause, what do you want, little boy, or something like that. So they get a bit catty. I'd bang her. I would. It's fine. It's fine. She-Hulk in the previous episode objectified men, so I could do it as well. That is the message that they told me, so it's all fine. There's a couple of women in here, actually, that So, yeah, we'll move on now, anyway. I think I've spent long enough saying who I'd bang. Don't give a shit. So, and then this woman comes up and makes Jennifer take a picture of both of them. So, yeah, I don't remember what the point in that was. Nah, that was pretty much that for that. So, yeah, we can move on now. So now She-Hulk is, I don't know, whining about this. Then she starts talking about, well, there's a few things that I quite enjoy now. And she lists them off. She says, amazing hair, no hangover, even though if you revert back into Jennifer, then you're hit with a hangover. So it makes no difference. And walking home with headphones on without being afraid. And her friend says to her, every woman's dream. Just constantly on the nose, isn't it? Just constantly. But that's the good parts, not the fact that you can help people or anything. Nah, fuck that. Throw that out the window. No, it's just, no, well, I've got amazing, your hair looks shit, to be honest. Looks very shit, especially when it's CGI hair. It looks even fucking worse. So, yeah, she complains about being a woman again. Why not? Why not? So yeah, that's that. And then she like crushes a stapler because I don't know, fuck knows why. And then this guy that comes up to Nikki and says, "Oh, will you do me a favor? Will you come and stand in line with me while I get some sneakers? They're the Iron Man Freeze sneakers, and you can only get one per person. Apparently, he likes to get 2 pairs. One pair he wears, and the other pair, he just to look at, basically." So yeah, we're basically introducing bullshit like this so we can get Jennifer's suit. Because he starts talking about, I've got some drip broker or something like that that can get that can like make custom clothes. And Nikki says, "Oh, do they do anything for superhero sized people?" So that's basically the point in this. We need to get Jennifer's suit, and that's basically the episode. Oh, we need to get She-Hulk clothes. That's what they spend about 22 minutes on. Is, oh, we need to get Jennifer some new clothes. Fuck. Great. This isn't filler or anything. No, it's not filler. It's not. We couldn't come up with a fucking idea, so we just thought, what about if Jennifer gets a new suit? So yeah, they're gonna go off and get that custom clothes. So that's pretty much that scene. She's watching Instagrams of Titania and says, "I'm over this. I am over this." So they go off on their little adventure, and then they turn up at a cafe, and he says, "Oh, it's a front for a superhero." It's like, whatever. But apparently it's some sort of front for making superheroes' clothes. So this guy doesn't really, because they've got to speak in code. He says, "Oh, Alonzo sent me," and the guy's like, "Oh, well, this is a cafe." She tells the guy in Chinese, like Nikki speaks Chinese and says, "We're not the cops," and then this guy goes, "I'm not Chinese." Fucking racist she is, isn't she? Just assuming he was Chinese. So that's that. Then they go into the back here, and the guy's just got this bootleg shite that says, like, rather than saying Avengers, the joke is, right, the amazing joke that so many people are going to laugh at is the fact that on the hats and tops and that, it says Avengers and Avengers instead of Avengers. Ha 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 ha! Fucking hell. But these are the types of jokes that people come up with that aren't funny. Funny, it's not funny. It isn't funny jokes. Shit. It's just, oh, these hats say Avengers. I don't really get how that's funny. But I imagine some people are going to laugh at that, aren't they? 2-year-olds. So, yeah, he said, like, the not Chinese guy. I don't know where he's from. But let's just go with Asian, because, I don't know. The Asian guy says, "Oh, before you can meet this guy won't want to meet with you. He only meets with exclusive people," or something like that. So he says, "Oh, I'll take him to you if you buy some of this merch." So we see these two characters here are the representations of MCU consumers. That's what they're supposed to represent. Where they just buy all this, merch, meaningless shite. Yeah, MCU stands, consumers, whatever you want to call them. So they dress up like that, and then they go to this store to meet this guy. The guy basically tells them to fuck off. And then they say, "Oh, well, she's going to be a part of the Avengers." I think you mean the Avengers. So now She-Hulk's sitting with her boss. So this is, of course, about, because they're going to be having some sort of lawsuit over this trademark stuff. So he's going to want to sort it all out himself. She kind of starts, I quite like this bit. She starts like rambling on about, well, Titania is this, that, and the other. He says to her, he just says to her, I'm just gonna stop you because none of that's my concern. At least someone had the balls to tell her to shut the fuck up. So that's that. They're gonna have a lawsuit. And then he sets her up with one of her colleagues. Another good-looking woman. I'll give you that, show. I'll give you. You have had some good lookers in the show. So yeah, she's like saying to her, yeah, it was basically about. Well, I think we've seen these clips going about where it's I'm trying to remember now. I've watched it twice, so I should remember. I've watched it twice, so you can only imagine. I want to slam my head through a glass window. But yeah, she says to her, why didn't you trademark your name before? My first question is, has any of the other superheroes had to trademark their names? Because it's never really came up. Never been a factor, so I don't really know if that's been a thing. I can only really imagine Tony Stark would trademark something. But as for, Captain America and people like that, I don't imagine so. And this puts the debate to rest. We've had this big debate going on about whether Thor is his name. It's not a mantle. It isn't a mantle. This is the debate that's been happening for a while. But She-Hulk mentions why didn't Doctor Strange and Thor have to trademark their names? And this woman says to her, oh, you pick two people that use their real names. So that puts that to rest. So that's pretty much that. Yeah, and then this woman shits on She-Hulk again. It says you need to get, if you're going to be my client, you need to sort your wardrobe out because you're dressed like shit. You're dressed like shit. They bring this up, and it never really you would think like she meant, when you come to court and all that, make sure you dress a bit, dress up a bit rather than just some suit. So she shits all over her about that. About her clothes. And then, she calls in Nikki and said, Nikki explains, oh, I'm sorting you out some suits. I've got this person or something like that. But now we're in court. I'm so fucking horrified at the CGI. So shit. There's some faces she pulls in this where it looks like a turtle. She looks like a fucking turtle person. Just the way her sort of lips go and all that. It's just paint a woman, for fuck's sake. Why did you do that? Just paint a woman. Like Lou Ferrigno. Why couldn't anyone just have come up with that? It's because She-Hulk's not as big as Hulk, so it's something you can do where you can just paint a woman. It would actually look a lot more better. Whereas this, it's quite hard to watch. It's quite hard to watch the weird movements. It's just horrible CGI. Would have been better if Marvel, people like Kevin Feige and that, if they'd let the CGI, the VFX artists, give them enough time. But they couldn't do that. Couldn't do that at all. So we're stuck with this. It's just very off-putting. So, so she's in court with Titania about this whole trademark shite. She gives some speech, whatever. Then Titania gets up and starts shouting and all that. It's like, no, you can't do that in court. Why is no one It's like, no, you can't just do. The judge would shout out contempt of court. Because you're not supposed to. No, you shut up. Just shut up. Or get up, anyway. Give us a look at your cleavage. She-Hulk said it was fine. Said it was fine. So, yeah, the lawyer for Titania shows a clip of She-Hulk saying, "Never will I ever be called She-Hulk." And then her lawyer shows her saying, "I will now forever be called She-Hulk." But the judge, it's not quite enough for the judge, so she says, "Oh, have you got any more evidence or anything like that? Make sure you bring it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to side with the defendant." So now we're over at she's now turned up to, they don't even measure or anything like that. She just shows up looking all weird and strange. She looks like fucking Michael Jackson in that shot. With the fucking hair and all. That looks like Michael Jackson. That's what you look like. So they turn up, and this guy then shits all over She-Hulk. That's what's been happening the whole episode, is everyone just absolutely shitting all over her. He says, what did he say? Oh, and I did forget the line that Titania says to She-Hulk, "Nice suit, Shrek." So they actually said it. We all mocked She-Hulk for looking like Shrek, and they actually said it in the show. So this guy says, "Is the Hag convention in town? Shadow over again." So they're going to sort her out. She just... Yeah, then he witnesses a revert to Jennifer and then back up to She-Hulk. And I'm telling you, this is one of the issues in this show, is that She-Hulk is supposed to be distinguishable, like, in personality from Jennifer, but they're not. There's been inconsistencies where we look at the last episode, she acted a bit more, a bit more confident and flirtatious. And then you come to this episode, it's like She-Hulk and Jennifer, the exact same person. There's no difference between them, even though there is supposed to be. And I just, I was going through this episode looking for a good thumbnail. And I just, a lot of these shots, I'm just like, yeah, she's just going back and forth through this episode. I'm like, she's just a fucking loser. Jennifer and they're just a loser. Such a boring fucking loser. Just, frigid. I can't really think of what word to describe her as, but yeah, whatever. There's supposed to be a difference between the two. They have presented it that way, yet it's been very inconsistent. They've only brought it up in episode 4, where she's actually had a different personality. Whereas here in this, she's all like, a bit fucking... I don't know. I can't think of the word. So that guy decides to make her some suits. So that's what we've spent our time on. Then this guy who, if we remember, is supposed to be the social commentary on incel culture. That is, forget his name. Don't give a fuck about his name. But he's apparently meant to be a Tony Stark wannabe, but he's also an incel or something like that. So, yeah, they went on, like, a date the previous episode. So She-Hulk says, "Oh, that's the guy with a fetish. He's so creepy and disgusting. Monstrous." You forget what you did the previous episode, She-Hulk. But yeah, he's a guy, so they set up, they go out for drinks. We get a no touching. He touches that woman. She says, "No touching." So we get that. She's going to go out to drinks with, I think the actor's name's John Bass. I forget what his actual name is in the show. But then She-Hulk and Nikki go out. They go and have their lunch on a park bench outside. And then Jennifer comes to the realization of how to win the case against the trademark is she's going to use her Tinder profile. Because she went on loads of dates where she was using the name She-Hulk, exploiting the name She-Hulk so she could, so she could get laid. That was why. That was why. So that's what she's going to use in court is, well, I presented myself as She-Hulk to all these guys. So now we're back at court again, where it's so fucking boring, and you can tell that the writers most definitely don't know anything about law. So they bring, and they, yeah, she starts like reading off the bio and all that sort of stuff on her Tinder profile. It's like, yeah, I don't think that's what the judge wants. I don't know why you're reading that stuff. You know, it's just for jokes, isn't it? Where, yeah, on her profile it says mean green and straight poured into these jeans. Yeah, I couldn't help but think, why exactly are we reading through this stuff? So that's pretty much that. Then all the guys get on the stand. All the guys she's went out with, they come in. So this guy's, you know, she was like, says, oh, she was desperate. She's desperate. She was very desperate, and I'm not into that. This guy takes the piss out of her about. She starts talking about She-Hulk in the third person, and I found it very grating. And then the guy that she molested, if we're going by, you know, certain activist standards, that's what happened. There was no consent given. So that's who that guy is. That was that guy who just had this big green woman on top of him where he couldn't move or anything like that. Picked him up, didn't say a word, and then threw him on the bed, I can only imagine, and absolutely pounded him. There was no way. There was no way he was going to say no. Not to She-Hulk. Not with someone with that amount of power. So that's what happened to him. Yeah, he basically says, you know, I'm not in the Jennifer isn't my type. And again, it's like, why would She-Hulk like be bothered by that? It's like, again, there should be a difference in personality. You know, at least, you know, She-Hulk is supposed to be more confident, like we've seen in the previous episode. Yet here, nah, she's just Jennifer. Just Jennifer, no difference whatsoever. So, yeah, he's not into it. Yeah, and the judge lets She-Hulk keep her name. So we've done that now. That's a wasted episode. We're not finished yet though. She looks at that guy and says, "Oh, see you later, thanks." The first guy we've seen on the stand, he goes and talks to Titania, and she says, "Oh, cut. You can buy me things." And then they both come out of the courtroom, talk a bunch of shit. And then She-Hulk asks her out for a drink, and then for some reason she breaks the fourth wall and does this. It's like, what? I don't. She must struggle to make friends or something. I don't know why you'd celebrate her. It gets worse. It makes her look like an even bigger loser later on in this scene here. So we get this is basically the part where they're shitting on men again. Just men are shit. That's pretty much the scene. Where they're talking about. I think they're talking about their boss. That he would never humiliate himself to win a case. He's never had to prove his value to a parade of underwhelming men. And then Jennifer says, "Think about what She-Hulk brings to the table, and those guys were my best option." So you better take what you fucking get. You take what you get. That's what you're doing, because you're an asshole. So that's what that part is. Then the woman says back to her, "You can have literal superpowers, and some guy with internet thinks he can do better." I think in most cases they can with this fucking person. And then Jennifer says the line, "The things we put up with, I'm happy with friends now." And that woman just looks at her like, "Fuck off." And then Jennifer really, did I say that out loud? So that's that embarrassing part for Jennifer that makes her look like a fucking try-hard loser. So they're not doing good in that aspect. But that was essentially just shitting on men. That's all that was. Great. So funny. So funny. You know, if it was funny, I'd laugh, but it's not. It's just, it's just, oh, this is what the writers think. They think they can do better. I imagine if we took a look at the writers, probably wouldn't be the case, would it now? But like all these scenes are basically, this is basically the writers talking. This is what they talk about at a bar. You know, they don't like men very much because men don't want to go out with them. That's probably why. So that's that. We're done with that. Now she fucks off to go and get a suit. We finally get a suit. We finally spent 20-something minutes just so we can get to the end and she's got a suit. So he shows her all these suits, and then he gives her a lot of special suit, which is, of course, we've seen it in the purple thing. And then what do we see? What do we see? Let's have a look at this, shall we? So someone's left this on the table. What is it? What is it? It's so they're setting up Daredevil for the next episode. You know, I have a lot of questions already. First of all, why is I don't know. That doesn't even look like it's done. I don't, yeah, the paint looks like it's not finished yet. So yeah, first of all, why would Daredevil buy a suit from here? Second of all, with him being New York based, why would he be getting a suit from in LA? That's going to be the reason why he's in LA, because he came to pick up a suit. I don't know how many miles away it is. Is it 1,000 from New York to LA? You know, it's a few days. I just question why the fuck he's going to this place all the way over there. They've already ruined that. They've already ruined that he's getting his suit from fucking this place. You know, I just. Oh. Yeah, why he would get that suit? Why we would get it from here? Don't know. But there you have it. That's why the reason why we haven't had Daredevil yet is just because they're trying to keep people hooked because they know Daredevil's going to show up. And you know, if you give a shit about the character of Daredevil, like myself, they're going to ruin him. They're going to turn him into a joke. That's obvious. I don't see any other way around this. Not when we've seen what they've done with Wong, and who else did they have showing up? What they did with Hulk. It's going to be the same with Daredevil. He's not going to. It's still amazing that Kevin Feige let these absolute dimwits get a hold of Daredevil. That's just hilarious to me. That Kevin Feige, the mastermind that he is, at least people think he is, I'll give Daredevil to She-Hulk writers that don't have a Scooby at what they're doing. Daredevil is a lawyer. They don't have a Scooby about law, so they're going to fuck that up. He's going to be shit at law. I guarantee you, Jennifer's going to be better at being a lawyer, even though from what we've seen, she's fucking terrible. We've seen her threaten a guy in the previous episode, even though that would get thrown out of court because of that. She's a lawyer. She should know these things. So that's what they've set up. So I look forward to that. And you'll be pleased to know that this episode, we don't have a mid-credit scene, which is good. Because, you know, some of the previous ones, we got like shit like twerking and all that. So it's good that we don't have it in this episode. But there you have it. We're now done with episode 5. I still can't believe we got 4 episodes to go. It's really dragging. It's really dragging, isn't it? It just drags and drags and drags. Nothing of value here. Nothing worth, you know, there's nothing all right about it. It's not too, no, shit. It's absolute sludge. So let's recap the episode so we can see what exactly happened. So She-Hulk she gets her trademark. She gets to stop Titania from trademarking her name. That didn't last very long. And it was pretty much just getting her a suit. That is basically the episode. Oh, she got a suit. She got a new suit. I don't know what this series is supposed to be. I don't know how people can watch like certain TV shows and then come to this and go, it's alright. The definition of sludge, that is what this show is. And it looks like we're getting Daredevil the next episode. Ah, fucking hell. No character will go unruined, will they? It's not allowed. It's not allowed in current Marvel. We must destroy every character. Even characters like Wong. Even characters like Wong. We have to fucking destroy them. I mean, you know, even look at fucking Star Wars. They managed, in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, to ruin fucking, you know, Aunt Beru. They even ruined those two. It's like, fucking hell. You know, it just seems to be a Disney thing. Oh, we take pre-established characters, we fucking ruin them. That's what we do. That is our business motto. Fucking hell. You know, I wish Disney would just hurry up and fuck off. I really would. Because, yeah, they're not... I don't... Yeah, these people being in charge. Nah, just go away. Go away. Go down into what little hole you came out of. Don't know what to say. Don't know what to say other than that. But Daredevil next week, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I'm sure Daredevil isn't going to be ruined in the slightest. No, it's going to be perfect. From what we've seen in this series so far, it's so great. It's so great that there's no way. There's no way they're not going to turn Daredevil into nothing more than a big fat joke.